Hi friends, I'm John Laspina. I am the Carnivore teacher. I'm wearing Dr. Kiltz's shirt that I got at KetoCon. I met the guy, full of energy. What a great guy. Handed me a lot of free stuff. I love those conventions. Anyway, today we're going to talk about the 3 ingredients. I mentioned this in a video before that Dr. Berg talks about. That is true. It's in all ultra-processed foods. And those 3 ingredients are starch, sugar, seed oils. Starch, sugar, and seed oils are in all ultra-processed foods. I want to break those 3 down in this video. Before I start, click the thumbs up. Share it if you like this content. Helps my algorithm, helps me reach more people. I'm not monetized. I don't want anything from you. I just want to get my message to people who can possibly benefit from it, like I've benefited from it by listening to other people's videos. Starch is glucose. It is. Glucose is your basic form of sugar that the body recognizes, that the pancreas sees, that the insulin has to neutralize. It's part of your HbA1c. Glucose. Glucose. Basic sugar. I think it's C6H12O6. Glucose, when it's connected to another glucose molecule, there's this little connector, it's a little bond, and then there's another one, and another one, and another one. And you could do that for hundreds or thousands of times. Guess what that is? That's the first one of the 3. That's a starch. A starch is glucose, 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 all connected together. And it's found in all plants, higher in some, lower in others. It's found in wheat, all grains, rice, corn, amaranth, all those grains. It's found in oats, which is a grain. It's found in potatoes. It's found in root vegetables, higher. It's found in legumes, like beans, all the different beans. That's a starch. So if you're eating bread and rice and potatoes and beans, you're eating glucose. It's just not separated yet. There's amalyse, which is an enzyme in our saliva, in our mouth, and the amalyse is in our stomach, that immediately, within seconds, breaks that bond that holds the 2 glucose or the thousands of glucose molecules together, and you, as you swallow it, it's sugar already. And in the stomach, the part that didn't get broken down yet because you ate too quickly, the amalyse is breaking that starch down into glucose. When you eat rice, when you eat a potato, when you're eating any kind of grain, oatmeal, corn, rice, bread, you're eating sugar, period. It may not taste sweet to you because what makes sugar sweet is not in that particular form of sugar. That's just glucose broken down. The part that makes something sweet is this other sugar, this other monosaccharide called fructose. That's the stuff that's in a lot of the fruits. The fructose, if it's attached to the glucose, that's called table sugar or sucrose. That tastes sweet on our taste buds. So we know when something's sweet. Oh, it's too sweet, I shouldn't have it, it's sweet. But your rice doesn't taste sweet, does it? Because it doesn't have fructose, but it is. Bread doesn't taste sweet because it doesn't have fructose, but it is. It's glucose. Beans, rice, all of that is glucose without the fructose, and you're eating sugar, and your body has to jump through hoops to take care of all of that, and you're on fire inside. Your body's trying to protect you. So we talked about starch. Let's go to sugar. Now, sugar is that fructose is connected to the glucose. That's called sucrose. And you know it's sugar because it tastes sweet. And honey has a lot of fructose, like 60% fructose and 40% glucose. That's why it's real sweet. Molasses, fructose and glucose. Table sugar, fructose and glucose. Any of the 250 other names for sugar that tastes sweet is fructose attached to the glucose. Now let's go to dairy. Dairy is glucose again, but you're like, well, wait a minute, milk doesn't taste that sweet, cheese doesn't taste that sweet because it doesn't have the fructose molecule. There's no fructose in dairy. There's this other monosaccharide called gallactose. Gallactose and glucose make lactose. That's the dairy sugar. And we have an enzyme in our intestines or we are supposed to have an enzyme. A lot of us lose that enzyme as we get older. It's called lactase, and that breaks the glucose and galactose down, and it absorbs the glucose. It does. So even with dairy products, you're giving yourself sugar without the fructose. And then you've got all the fruits. Fruits on the tree, on the bushes, berries, whatever, they're all fructose and glucose, different layers. And a lot of fruits have them already combined as sucrose. Sometimes they're separate and they're combined, but that's all the sugar. So we've got starch, which turns into sugar. We've got sugar, which is sugar. And the third one is just a toxin. It's a machine lubricant not meant for any mammal at all. No human body should be having canola oil or soybean oil or safflower oil or corn oil or peanut oil or rice bran oil or margarine or Crisco. Those are called seed oils, commonly known as vegetable oils. That stuff is absolutely, it's so close to plastic in molecular structure. If you saw the two molecules, you're eating a toxic oil. We're humans. We should not have that. And they all come from seeds that they press with high heat. They clean it with hexane. They deodorize it. They bleach it. And the hexane's still in there, a little bit of it. And you're drinking this. You're cooking with it. You're eating it. It's in so many ultra-processed foods. You've got the starch, the sugar, and the seed oil. Stay away from all of that. Read your ingredient labels, people. If you're going to eat something with a list, read it. If it has any of that stuff in it, my advice is don't eat it. Stick with what you can find around the edges of the grocery store, which is single ingredient animal product foods like egg, like beef, like fish. And read those ingredient labels too, because sometimes they inject artificial colors into the fish because you bought farm raised and it's gray because they fed the fish wheat and grain and the fish didn't get to eat what they're supposed to eat when they're wild caught. So they add this fake astaxanthin in there to make it look pink. Buy wild caught fish. Try to buy grass-fed, grass-finished beef, but that's hard. So you buy whatever you can with that. And you will be healthy. And you don't have to read too many ingredient labels when you stay carnivore. Eat well so that you can look and feel well. And you will become the optimized version of yourself. I am now the optimized version of myself. That's why I'm so happy and I make these videos. And I think you can be the optimized version of yourself too if you clean up your diet. Take out the ultra-processed food. Stay away from starch, sugar, and seed oils in everything you put in your mouth, even the smallest little piece. Don't say, like some people say, oh, it's just a little bit. Would you put just a little bit of cyanide in your body? Would you put just a little bit of arsenic in your body? Because that's what you're doing when you eat ultra-processed food. You're just putting a tiny bit. And that's what causes people's aches and pains and health problems that lead to bigger problems. All right, I know this is going on too long, so I'm going to end it now. Thumbs up, share, have a good day.